2022 was a really surprising year, at least for me personally, when it came to the films that we got. And in this video, I'm going to share with you the top 5 films of 2022. So these aren't the movies that I think are technically the best or should be the top 5. These are the 5 films that I personally enjoyed the most. But before I share with you my list, I want to know what your list is. Let me know in the comments what your favorite films of 2022 were. And also, one thing to keep in mind is that there are some films from 2022 that I just have not seen yet, even though I wanted to. And some of those movies I have a feeling could have been in this list if I saw them, but I didn't, and those movies include The Menu, Everything Everywhere All at Once, another movie that I have a feeling I'm gonna love when I watch it, but I just haven't seen it yet, and also this movie. I'm forgetting the title of it, but I have a feeling I'm gonna love this movie again once I get around to watching it. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. I do TV show discussions, trailer reactions, movie discussions, that sort of thing. And once again, before I get into my list, I also want to talk about TV shows really quick and just series that were released on streaming services, because again, 2022 was a phenomenal year for just shows also. And my 2 favorite shows that came out in 2022 are House of the Dragon. I absolutely love the world of Ice and Fire. Game of Thrones is my favorite show ever, and House of the Dragon is a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and my expectations were high. I am so happy with it. But probably my favorite season of a show to release in 2022, and this is a surprise to myself, is Stranger Things 4, or Stranger Things Season 4. I really love Stranger Things. I really, really do. 3, I feel like, was probably the weakest season, if I'm remembering it correctly, but 4. No show did I enjoy watching as much as Stranger Things 4, and I cannot wait for the final season. I also want to give a special shout out to a show that came out almost a year ago. It came out in the very beginning of 2022, and it was a super surprising show. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did, and it's been greenlit for a 2nd season on Netflix, and I cannot wait for that, and that is All of Us Are Dead. It's a zombie show, a Korean zombie show. It was really fun. It was really horrifying also, and I liked the characters a lot more than I, again, thought that I was going to. And I just looked at it on Netflix again, and it's 12 episodes. I did not remember it being 12 episodes. It was, though, and I watched all 12, but it was paced so well that it flew by. It did not feel like 12 episodes. It felt like 6 or 8. It's just such a fun show to watch, and I highly recommend you check it out. Anyway, let's get into my 5 favorite films of 2022. Number 5 being the 3rd film by a director, and a lot of people consider this to be probably his weakest film, but for me personally, it's my favorite film by him, and that is Nope by Jordan Peele. I absolutely love alien movies. I absolutely love alien invasion movies. Arrival and Signs are 2 of my favorite films of all time, and I especially love alien movies when they're set on such a small scale with such normal people being the main characters, the main protagonists, and that's exactly what Nope is. This film is one of the most fun experiences I've had in a theater in such a long time. I do think that it's better than Us, but is it technically better than Get Out? Probably not, but the reason why I like Nope more is because, again, I personally love alien stories so much, but I also think it's a lot more rewatchable than Get Out. This movie would probably be a lot higher if it hit me more emotionally. It never really did that, but at the end of the day, the visuals, the sound design, the score, the characters, the performances, everything about Nope was a movie that feels like it was designed for me, so that gives it number 5 on my list. Number 4 on my list is a movie that I really doubt is on anybody else's top 5 or top 10 list or whatever, but I had so much fun watching this movie. It is one of the movies I've rewatched the most this whole year, and it's one of the movies that I know that came out this year that I'm going to rewatch the most this year and the year after that. And rewatchability for me is such an important part. It's such an important factor when it comes to me deciding what my favorite films are, and that is Uncharted. I will say I have not played the Uncharted video games, so I did not go into this movie as a fan of the source material. I did play the first game about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, and I enjoyed it enough. I'm sure I would like the Uncharted games when I get around to playing them. But with that being said, I went into this movie just wanting a fun adventure film. And that's what I got. Of course, this movie has action. Of course, it has humor. But one thing that I really appreciate, and one thing that makes me so happy, the adventure is what this film is about. It's about going from location to location, searching for a specific item. The action is there, but I wouldn't call this an action movie. It's an adventure movie with some pretty fun action in it. And yeah, I just really enjoyed this film. Again, it's one of the films I've rewatched the most this year, and I can see myself rewatching it very frequently in the future. And with that being said, it's number 4 right now, but depending on how much I watch it in the near future, could be my third, could be my second, could be my favorite. I don't know. Number 3 on my list is Avatar: The Way of Water. I really enjoyed the first Avatar movie. I did not go see it in theaters. In fact, the first time that I saw it was in 2015, maybe 2016, and I watched it for a second time only right before going to see the new movie. But this movie is just visually stunning. Like, for example, I love the MCU. I am an MCU fanboy. I talk about it very frequently on this page. I love the MCU. I go see every MCU movie. But with that being said, Avatar: The Way of Water just blows away most Marvel films in terms of visuals. It was just amazing watching this on an IMAX screen. And I know a lot of people don't, but I like the plot. I like the characters. I like the acting. I like the direction. And more importantly, I just love that we have a relatively new giant franchise. You know what I mean? Like, everything is either superheroes, dinosaurs, or some IP that existed in the 80s or the 90s being rebooted to today. But Avatar is just, again, a relatively new franchise, a relatively new world for us to explore together as a society, as a world. When it comes to Avatar: The Way of Water, it does everything better than the first movie, in my opinion. The plot is better, the pacing is better, the direction is better, the acting is better, the characters are better, which was very important for me. I didn't dislike the characters in the first movie, but I loved pretty much every new character introduced in this film. I've only seen the movie once. When I see it a second time, it could go down, but it could go up. But as of right now, Avatar: The Way of Water is sitting at number 3 on my list. Number 1 and 2 were really, really hard for me. I kept going back and forth about which movie was number 1 and which movie was number 2. So ask me tomorrow, and these positions could be swapped, and then the day after that, they could be swapped back, and then the day after that, swapped again. But as of right now, this is what number 2 is. Number 2 is Top Gun Maverick. I've never seen the first Top Gun movie. When I saw this movie, I knew nothing about the first film, and I still don't. I've still yet to watch that first movie, but I've watched this movie twice now, and it is, in my opinion, a near perfect film. From plot, from casting, to pacing, to everything about Top Gun Maverick earns the amount of money that this film made. When I was going to the theater to watch Top Gun Maverick for the first time, I thought I would like it, but I didn't think I would love it. I didn't think I would love a Tom Cruise-led film about fighter pilots. I thought it would probably be good. I thought visually it would be amazing, but narratively and just how it resonated with me personally, I wasn't expecting much. Turned out I was wrong. It is probably the most fun I had in a theater all year, maybe even for the past 2 years, maybe 3. And Top Gun Maverick, in my opinion, is probably the technically best film on my whole list. Like, this is the type of movie that I could put on anytime and enjoy it. I could probably watch it tonight and like it, watch it again in the morning, like it even more, and then watch it tomorrow night and like it 3 times as much. I can't really think of a flaw with the movie, but the reason that I gave number 1 the number 1 spot is this was the movie that just kind of consumed my life the most. And that is The Batman. The Batman is the number 1 film for me personally that came out in 2022. Matt Reeves is one of my favorite directors of all time. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and War for the Planet of the Apes are criminally underrated. And another criminally underrated film is one of my favorite horror movies of all time, and that is his adaptation of Let Me In. Such a good atmospheric film that you need to watch. If you have not seen it, go watch it right now. And he brings that Matt Reeves style to the Batman universe and gives us, in my opinion, the best Batman film to ever be released ever. But I will add an asterisk, and that asterisk says next to it that I personally am not a huge Batman fan. Batman has never been a character that has meant much to me personally. So yeah, I liked the Dark Knight movies. I understand why so many people love them, but they never resonated with me. Same with the Michael Keaton movies and the George Clooney movies and so on and so forth. But this is the first Batman film that I absolutely loved personally. The pacing, the tone, the acting. Robert Pattinson is one of my favorite actors of all time, and he is the only Bruce Wayne that I believe would be Batman. He's an insane, crazy, rich person. And this movie just consumed my life. You can't see it, but over there I have an original Batman poster. I'll display a version of it here, but I have that original poster in a frame on my wall over there. Absolutely love it. I wanted Batman collectibles. I can't wait for the Penguin show, which I never thought I would have said before I saw the Batman. I don't care about Penguin as a character. Colin Farrell, I'm sure, is a great actor. I personally haven't seen him in anything that I've loved, but him being Penguin in this universe, I can't wait for it. But anyway, my favorite film of the year is Batman. It does have flaws. When I rewatched it, there were some scenes and there were some sequences that I was kind of bored sitting through. But with that being said, it's still the movie that lives in my mind the most. It's still the movie on this list that I'm probably going to want to rewatch the most. The Riddler was a phenomenal villain. However, Selena Kyle, I believe her name was, Catwoman, I wanted to care for her character more than I did. But for all I know, in the sequel, I am going to love that character. So there's always the possibility of that. But anyway, that's my list. That's the 5 films that I liked the most in 2022. Again, let me know what your favorite film was of the year or favorite few films of the year were for you in the comments. I need more recommendations on what to watch. Again, consider subscribing if you haven't already. I do TV show discussions, trailer reactions, movie discussions, that sort of thing. Thank you for watching, especially if you watched this far.